Nice.
So, let's do
How are
it.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you.
How is Seattle, Washington, not Washington, D.C.?
I know that's a bit confusing. I'm always like, yeah, no, it's not that Washington, not the one with the White House. It's good. It's just relaxed. Everything's on
Mm,
pause, but I'm
that's
enjoying
good.
it. Yeah.
Is the situation with coronavirus okay-ish? Because I know that like the U.S. is a bit crazy right now with corona.
Yeah, I'm outside of Seattle, so I'm actually not in a city. I'm staying at my parents' right now, which is in Port Townsend, Washington. So it's like
Okay.
we're in the forest and I'm just with my dog and my parents, and my brother was here, but he just got rehired. So he's back at his job.
Okay.
But I literally have no human interaction.
I guess
So I don't
that's
know so
okay.
much.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was at uni in England and I had to come back to Greece where I'm originally from for this whole semester.
Okay.
And I've been locked in my house since I
Oh
got back
no.
in like 2 months. But it's fine. It's fine. We move and
And it
we
must be getting
move.
nice too
um
there.
yeah, the weather is getting really nice. So I just
Yeah.
chill out in my balcony like as much as I can.
That's
Um,
cool.
but yeah, I randomly found your music and I
Yeah.
was so surprised. I really liked it. I loved it
Thank
actually.
you so much. Thank
And
you.
yeah, so at my University of Bath, I do student radio.
Very cool.
And I had my own like R&B show, but now given the whole situation, I'm not doing
This
it.
is this is the next step.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Like
cool.
this is what I'm doing to keep me a bit sane.
Okay.
And yeah, I just wanted to talk to you to see, what you're
Yeah.
about.
So
Like,
nice.
yeah. So tell me
Thank
a
you
little
for having
bit
me.
about you and your music, because I couldn't find much about you. I tried to do my homework, but
There's nothing up there. Yeah, okay, so I'm originally from Seattle, Washington,
Mhm,
and I've lived here, or I've grown up here pretty much my whole life until I was 17, and then I've just been traveling since then. The last year and a half I was in London
mhm.
pursuing music. And so I've been writing songs since I was probably 12. I started
Okay.
off playing guitar and kind of just really in the indie music. Like I really, really love Ben Howard and Lucy Rose and these people from the UK. The band
Mhm.
Daughter is one of my favorite
Oh
bands.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was really into that, and I just was like, oh, my mom's British as well, actually.
Mhm,
So that's how I'm able to be in the UK.
mhm,
And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So now I've started working more with producers in the last 5 years.
mhm.
And so that's more the music that you're hearing, that I'm posting on my Instagram and stuff, which I love as well. It's a healthy medium for, I felt like the acoustic music was a bit hard for people to really hone into.
Mhm.
Um, but my goal is to be able to do both. So like if I could come out with an album, it would be like half acoustic, half electronic. Yeah.
No, that's dope. And there's definitely room for both right now.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, so well, you said you've been doing music since you were 12, but even from just taking a look at your Instagram, I can tell that you're a very creative person. So
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, is
That's
that
nice
weird?
of you.
No,
Yeah.
it's just
No.
just was wondering like what's your like background? Do you have any like a deeply like creative background? Like, because do you model? I saw that too.
Yeah, I do a bit. That didn't really, I don't know. Okay, so when I started doing music, Instagram wasn't a thing.
Mhm.
So I wasn't even thinking about, it was YouTube. I remember Justin Bieber being like the
Yeah,
viral thing on
I
YouTube, and I
remember
would spend hours of my time like recording videos of myself singing covers, and I was like, yeah, I'll be discovered one day. But it never happens that way, of course, because it's just like one out of, I don't know, thousands of people. And now that time, like, viral music is,
that.
in
Yeah.
my opinion, not the most interesting music. But what was the question? Oh, how
What's your like creative background?
my creative background. Yeah,
Yeah.
my parents are very creative. My dad's a musician.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and my mom's mom was a musician as well. So, and I also went to Waldorf school. I don't know if you know what that is,
Um,
but
is it like a music school in America?
it's kind of like, it's not music school, but they are not traditional like academic
Okay.
school. It's more based on feeling and being in touch with that like they put a big emphasis on being artistic. So
That sounds amazing.
I spent a lot of my childhood drawing and shit. So yeah.
Dope. I
But
wish
when
I
it,
went to that school.
yeah, it's pretty cool until you have to like go back into the regular
Yeah,
society and you're like,
definitely.
oh well,
Yeah.
I don't know any math really or
Yeah.
any science. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, it explains like your vibe. So what or who inspires you?
There's so many things. Like, I guess there's two different sides of it, right? There's like,
Mm-hmm.
for me, music is such a good tool for clarity in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it if I'm confused about a situation. My first, like, naturally, my first instinct is to write about it. And then I think the singing is quite therapeutic for me because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it puts me at ease. And just the idea that you can, no matter how bad a situation is in your life, that pain is turned into something beautiful. So that's like that's my personal inspiration. As far as like musicians go, it's all over the place. Like it's so, I listen to a lot of singer-songwriter stuff. That
Mm-hmm.
music is really close to my heart. um Daughter, Ben Howard, like there's one Ben Howard album that is just like my favorite album ever. um and then there's also like music that my parents shared with me growing
Mm-hmm.
up, so like Michael Jackson was a
Yeah,
huge one, Jackson
first.
5, um Shania Twain. I was like, I went through a phase of being really into country music, so I was like, Dixie Chicks and Shania Twain were like my shit for a while.
Oh,
I was super into High School Musical.
oh yeah. Who wasn't
Yeah.
really?
So like that still sticks with me. Like I'm still listening to it. Oh, there's a Keisha Cole album that I'm like a huge fan of. Like a
Damn.
lot of the music I listen to now is super nostalgic for me.
No,
And
that's great because then you
yeah,
just make so much, and I don't know, it becomes like a fusion of like what you're putting out of everything that you've grown up listening to.
sometimes it turns out really weird. Like,
Yeah.
you know, personally, I don't think my music is like that far off, you
Mhm.
know, like as, but some people are like, wow, I've never thought of that. Like that is so strange to me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like it really brings me back to this reality, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, people think differently than I do. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about everything and that you just released. How is the process of making it, and what does it mean for you? Anything you
Yeah,
mention?
Everything is an interesting song. It was, the inspiration came from a period of my life when I was dating someone that was in a
Mm-hmm.
different place than where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just brought out this side of me that I realized like I mean I had acknowledged it because humans I feel like always want more. Like they always need more than what is actually necessary. And in relationships, that can come off as a bit possessive, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say that I'm a possessive person, but in this moment of the relationship, I was like, oh, he's not here, he's far away. And like the way for me to deal with that feeling was to write this song of like, um, I think the lyric is, it's true, he can't give me the world, and I knew more than diamonds and pearls for you. So like I was like coming to terms with the fact that if you put all your energy into a person, you're not going to get, like it's not going to be fulfilling in that way. So you have to have other things that you're passionate
Mm-hmm.
about. And um yeah, yeah, so I wrote
100%,
yeah, that was kind of the inspiration, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stumbled across that on Instagram and I was like, how is this girl not famous yet? um, but yeah, no, that's great. Do you have any more music coming out soon or?
I have playlists and playlists of music. Right now I think I will be coming out with an EP. I don't know when,
Okay.
but soon. It's just a matter of finishing it. And at the moment I can't go to a studio. I have home recording set up,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't really finish things
Yeah.
completely by myself. So I'm waiting for the world to be turned back on
Yeah.
so I can
That was
get
gonna be my
excited.
next question. Like, how has the lockdown affected your creativity and your creative process? Is it any good or is it all just bad? Because I know a lot of musicians are putting out amazing stuff that they just, produce during this
Yeah,
time.
it's weird because I feel like this time for me has been a real like life change time. So I'm just like adjusting to, I'm learning a lot about myself and I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about a lot of stuff that has to do with music, but more of like the reality of like where I want to put my time, how I want to be seen. And all of this is super necessary for being a musician. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if a lot of people realize that are just listeners, but I think the more in tune you are with yourself, the more accurate you can portray what you're trying to portray. So it's definitely a necessary time. But actually making music, I mean, I made a bit of music with my brother, but
Mm-hmm.
this is like the most time I've ever had to do music, and
Definitely, yeah.
usually I'm like, oh, I wish I had more time to do music, blah, blah, blah. And now I have it and I'm like, oh, well, it's too bad my life is like crumbling. So I, haven't really
Yeah, no.
been creating as much as I should, but I think what I'm doing is definitely working towards
No, that's
something really
definitely
cool.
that's as you said, it's necessary. So it's great that
Yeah.
you have the time to do that now.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel that 100%. Same with me. Like this project, I've been wanting to do something similar for ages, and now I have no excuse now, and I have like a great
Yeah.
topic.
You're
So
sitting there. You're like,
exactly. But yeah, obviously with university and everything going on, it's a crazy time. So we
are
just
you still having to do schoolwork?
yeah. Actually, my
Oh,
exams
wow.
are starting next week. Yep.
So funny. I forget people are in school because I'm like so oblivious to it.
It's just the thing.
Yeah.
So okay, what's the biggest struggle that you're experiencing as an upcoming musician right now? Would you say you have one specifically
Yeah, no, I have one definitely. There's many actually. I would say there's this cycle of, and I think this has changed. Like I think there's probably a parallel, but it's something that new musicians are experiencing now where like for me, okay, I'm in this place where I need someone to invest. So the music industry is an industry and you have to have a certain amount of money to put into your art unless you're fortunate to just be in a position where you do need money. You either need a record label to put the money into it for you or you need someone to sponsor you or yeah, it's just necessary to have quality visuals, quality
Mm-hmm.
music, like all these things cost money. So um that's where it becomes a bit frustrating, I think, for artists that are trying to make it is because it's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of funds and people that are in your corner and understand what you're doing. And for me, the type of music that I do, it's not pop music. So people don't see it as a big money maker. They
Yeah.
see it as like, oh yeah, that's cool and artsy, but like 13-year-old girls are not going to play this song on repeat. It's not like Ed Sheeran or something like this.
Yeah.
So this is like the line that I've been struggling with of like, okay, yeah, someone needs to invest in me so I can push myself further. But now I'm kind of done. I'm done trying to pitch myself to people and I'm going to do it independently because I can. And it's a longer climb if you're
Yeah.
doing it independently.
Definitely, and that's why I'm doing student radio in the first place because it's obviously something I'm doing like voluntarily. I'm not getting paid
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
just something I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
doing. And because I'm so passionate about music and especially like this like alternative R&B kind of vibe that you're also putting out, that's what I
Yeah.
want to do, like find artists. And obviously I'm not going to change the world, I'm not going to change their careers, but doing that is just something I love. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's lots of people that there is this audience. There's an audience for anyone, regardless of what type of music you make. It's just a matter of finding that,
Mhm.
and to find that you kind of have to put yourself out there in a way
And honestly,
that
like most big musicians in that like realm, I'm thinking about like I don't know, Mahalia and that kind of vibe. They just
Mhm.
or like Joy Crooks. Actually, I interviewed her, like in
Yeah, I
December
saw
or
it.
something. Um, and people like that, they just blew up, not blew up, but gradually like they did stuff that helped them and along the way. So I guess, as you
Yeah.
said, it's like a process. So it's gonna like happen gradually. Obviously, like
Yeah,
it's not gonna
and
be
I
like
think,
Justin Bieber, but it's gonna happen
yeah,
if you have the talent.
yeah, it will happen. And the thing that I think is intimidating for people is that, unlike school, there's not a graduation time.
Exactly.
You know, it may never come, like, but for me, there's enough personal goals. It's not about being famous. It's not about,
Mm,
anything really like that. If I could live my life and just do music full time, I would be fine with that.
yeah,
But you come to terms with the fact that, if you want to be a full-time musician, it needs to be a professional thing,
yeah.
which means making money. So how do you make that work?
That's definitely a question.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure you got the talent. I think you got like the talent and the dedication, and I think you're
Thank
in the
you.
right like mindset, so it will happen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, what do you do to stay sane during these times? Because as I said, like
Quarantine?
this is my like sane thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, you know, hmm, I haven't felt, when I first got to America, I felt
Mhm.
really thrown off just because, like, everything changed so quickly. But now I just feel so at peace. Like, kind of, I can feel the world turning back on actually here a little bit more. And I'm like, damn, why didn't I take advantage of the time more? Because I'm also lucky. Like, I'm not stuck in a house. My parents have a little bit of property, so I can
Mhm.
be outside and hang out with my dog and stuff. And it's not as intense as in
Yeah.
Europe. So I can go to the beach and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing.
I know. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of like outdoorsy things and
Yeah.
spending a very necessary time with my family and my dog,
Yeah.
and just thinking about how I want to re-enter, society, I guess, and the things that I care about
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
No, that's always good. And at first, I wasn't that sure if I wanted to come back home to spend this time, but I'm so glad I did because
I
I
felt the same
yeah,
way.
yeah. Um, do you have a quarantine playlist?
I've started one, but oh, this is something that I started during quarantine. I
Mhm.
never work out, but
Oh,
I
okay.
started I started doing some physical exercise. And so I've been listening to Bossy London's
Mhm,
playlist. They have a yin and yang playlist. So one's like
mhm.
a chill playlist and the other one's a turnt playlist. And I've been listening
Okay.
to the turnt one because it's really good for working out. Um, yeah,
Okay.
Yang playlist by Bossy London.
Okay, I'll check it out because I'm starting this like jumping rope challenge. Wish me luck. I don't know
Oh
how
shit.
it's going to turn out. But
Yeah.
yeah, have you listened to anything like new that artists have put out this time? Like I know like Childish Gambino's album was amazing that he put out.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
What have I listened to recently that I really like? Can I check my
Yeah,
Spotify?
of course.
Let's see, because it's right here and then I can tell you more accurately. I mean, it's bad if nothing's really jumping to the top of my mind.
It's fine.
But like I said, I listen to a lot of nostalgic
Mm.
music, so it's kind of um let's see. There's not really full albums. I listen to, oh, actually yes there is. I love it's not new, but I
Mhm.
love Lolo Zouai, her newest album, High High and Low Lows.
Okay,
So I've
I'll
been
check it
listening
out.
to that. Yeah,
I'll check it
she's
out.
really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Dope.
that's a good
Yeah,
album.
I'm trying to make a playlist for this project with like music.
Yeah, and actually back to like a couple questions ago about how we talked about, growing as a
Mhm.
musician and stuff. That song High Highs and Low Lows is exactly like, she's talking exactly about what I'm talking about,
Okay,
which is interesting. So
it's definitely going on my
listen to
playlist
that.
then because I'm making one
Yeah.
for this project, including like music from the people that I'm interviewing,
Okay,
and then
cool.
whatever we talk about. So definitely
Cool.
on there. So well, I already asked you what's coming next, so I guess we can
Music
music.
soon. Yeah.
Okay, and okay, this is my last question then.
Okay.
What's the first thing that you're doing once this is all finished and we're back to normal life?
Going to the studio. That's
Mhm.
my goal. I really like, I have songs that I'm ready to finish and they're just waiting to be
Yeah.
finished. So I really want to, I haven't been writing so much, but I feel like in the period of times when I don't write and I'm
Mhm.
more living, when I get into the studio, it's like the most fun for me because
Yeah.
it's hard to sit there and not feel inspired. And I feel the more I work on music, the more I realize that if the musician is good that I'm with, or whoever I'm collaborating, I truly connect with what they're making, that isn't a problem. But there have been many sessions in my life that, you know, I'm sitting there trying to come up with inspiration and I'm like, oh, I don't really feel anything. But when
Yeah.
it's based on the music, it doesn't really matter. But I'm really excited because this time I feel like we all have this emotional
Mhm.
um material, and it will
Yeah.
be different for each person. So there's lots of personal things as well that have gone along with this coronavirus thing for
Mhm.
me. So I'm excited to get in the studio and just
That's
see what comes
amazing
out
to
of it.
hear. And it
Yeah.
actually proves my point and the reason I'm doing this, to show that, we can have good things come out of this. Like, especially in
Yeah,
terms of creativity, there's so much that we can gain from this.
I think collectively as well, like everyone has to some extent experienced the same thing,
Mhm.
and just to be able to actually relate to each person regardless of where they are from or what color their skin is or what their
Yeah.
sexual orientation is or whatever, you know, like all these things that we kind of get caught up on.
Mhm.
um
We all.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great, but it's
Yeah.
like there are positive, I
Mhm.
think that's the only way to really
Yeah.
move forward, right?
Of course.
Wash your hands and think, have an optimistic outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much for
really
having
enjoyed
me.
this. I really
Yeah, me
did.
too.
And
Thank
honestly,
you.
like, good luck for everything. And we'll keep in touch. If you're back in London,
Yes.
Bristol, whatever, hit me up. Come to my radio station.
Yes, I will for sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.